It's a disgrace what took place at the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1. They violated every aspect of the agreement, and they morally violated it also. January 20th will turn the economy around very quickly.
Trump gave this speech at Mar-a-Lago where he goes over his major goals in the short term. He kind of goes off on a couple things, like taking back the Panama Canal.
Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. He goes into a lot of economics. He's excited about the economic turnaround of America. And he already gives more specifics on what he wants to do, what he will do, than Kamala Harris did in her entire campaign run because she doesn't know anything about economics. Welcome and enjoy. Thanks for watching.
Things were being respected again all over the world. The Panama Canal is a disgrace what took place at the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1. And they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. It was the most expensive structure ever built in the history of our country, relatively. It would be the equivalent of substantially over $1 trillion today. We lost 38,000 people. Think of it, 38,000 people, they died from malaria, mosquitoes. They were unable to stop the mosquitoes. They paid people 5 times more to take the job. Many of those people died. We gave it away for $1. But the deal was that they have to treat us fairly. They don't treat us fairly. They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries. They charge more for our Navy than they charge for navies of other countries. They laugh at us because they think we're stupid, but we're not stupid anymore. So the Panama Canal is under discussion with them right now. They violated every aspect of the agreement, and they morally violated it also.
Moral violation. I like that language. I like bringing moral in instead of everything just being legal. Now, the Panama Canal is significant because it shows how Trump is concerned about international shipping, including for our military, as he mentioned. Well, Mitch McConnell wrote in this op-ed on how he's against Trump's, the way that he treats other countries. And of course, Mitch McConnell is compromised. The United States would be foolish to compete with China by itself, Mitch writes. The U.S. allies and partners represent a significant share of the global economy. It would be simply unaffordable to replicate all their supply chains domestically. So Mitch McConnell saying we must use their supply chains, and Trump's going like, we're going to build our own supply chains and cut the whole rest of the world out. This is Mitch McConnell, Obama deserves credit for negotiating the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the TPP, which is a disaster, with U.S. allies in Asia. And I do not regret working with them to overcome the objections of protectionist Democrats in Congress and Republicans. Protectionist, that means a tariff is a form of protectionism, right? You tax your imports. And so you're projecting. So Mitch McConnell's trying to say it's Democrats, but really what he means is some Democrats and most MAGA Republicans. Beyond lowering trade barriers and expanding market access for U.S. companies, the agreement was designed to establish favorable rules of the road for international trade in a critical region of the world, critical being China. The parties to the proposed agreement represented 40% of the global economy, but rather than strengthen and harness the power of Western economies, the first Trump administration and then the Biden administration sometimes actively antagonized them, including with tariffs that have strained relationships with allies and tested the patience of American consumers. The abdication was an invitation for China to expand its economic influence in Asia at the United States' expenses. I only know that if Mitch McConnell wrote it, I don't trust him. I hate to say it about the guy, but that's how I feel. But he's also compromised, as this tweet represents from Easy. Mitch McConnell's wife's family, their shipping company has their boats built by the China State Shipbuilding Corporation and financed by the Export-Import Bank of China. This is why McConnell doesn't want to bring back manufacturing. Well, Mitch McConnell is the past. the ancient past, and Trump is back.
We're a party of common sense, and things that I'm telling you now is really all about common sense. On January 20th, we'll turn the economy around very quickly, because right now when I think of our economy, I think about inflation. That's what we have. We have inflation, I believe, at a level that we never had before. There's never been anything like it. And over the next 4 years, the United States is going to take off like a rocket ship. But really, it's already doing it. If you take a look, just last month, SoftBank announced the $200 billion. I think it'll be 200. He said between 100, and I said, how about making it 200? And he sort of said yes, but let's say it's 100, but it might be 200, right, Brian? Dollars, United States creating more than 100,000 jobs. Hussein just announced a tremendous investment that he's going to make, and that's money that's in the bank. He's going to come and do it, and he'll do a great job, and he'll build the best centers in the country, I guarantee, because I know the way he builds. Since my election, the stock market has set records. The S&P 500 index has broken above 6,000 points for the first time ever, never even close. In a single month, small business optimism soared 41 points. It's not at 41. It went up 41 points, and that's the largest in the 39-year history of the group that does it. According to Gallup, the American people's confidence in the economy has just surged to the highest level in history. That's why I have a news conference like that. I take the greatest business leaders in the world. I say, hey, do you want to say you're going to invest the money? They're not looking for news conferences. They're saying, what am I doing here? They go in and they invest money. But it's good to know where the smartest business people in the world are investing, and they're investing in the United States.
So jobs are already coming back, and that's going to expand. That's the biggest thing with businesses right now, is they're incredibly optimistic. By 40 points, they went from pessimistic under Biden to, since the election, they've gone up 40 points to being optimistic under Trump. Businesses feel like it's not a criminal act to succeed at business in America. That will naturally produce more jobs, innovation, new technologies, and new opportunities for all Americans to make money off of our ideas. So this is a very American good thing, big picture cultural shift. When you've gutted American businesses and they feel terrified of their own government, which they did under Biden, they're not afraid of the government anymore. Now they feel like, hey, it's time to do business.
Nobody even knows how many people, millions, and they're still counting in some areas. You know, they're still counting the vote in some areas. Can you believe this? What a place. What a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix the election so that we get honest counts and they get done by 10 o'clock in the evening or something thereabouts. They have places where they're still counting votes.
Yeah, and he's right. And it's because of California's lax vote laws that we lost 3 seats in the House of Reps. 3 of our best Republicans in California got wiped out because of California's loose voting laws. If he can change it to be same-day voting, he's talked about on paper, physically, that would be amazing. Very good for America. And I think it would instill confidence in the election results. I think more people, the more it's transparent, that is, the more that people can see what the government's doing, the more that all of the states conduct their elections in similar ways, so you don't have a certain group of people preferred in one state over the other, but that in general, it was a little, I know that states have the ability to make their own rules, but there needs to be a federal standard in some way. Because what's happening in California is absolutely outrageous. It's not more fair. It's just they're still counting votes.
President Biden's actions yesterday on offshore drilling, banning offshore drilling, will not stand. I will reverse it immediately. It'll be done immediately. And we will drill, baby, drill. And we're going to be drilling in a lot of other locations. And the energy costs are going to come way down. They'll be brought down to a very low level. And that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New Scam. All this money, trillions of dollars. It's like throwing it right out the window, what they're doing. And they're trying to spend so much now. They're just taking money and giving it to anybody that wants it for any project at all, if it's certified under the Green New Scam. And they don't work, and it's too expensive.
I like the Green New Scam. That's my new favorite term. I hadn't heard that on the Green New Deal. That we went from number 1 in oil production in the world to number 3, so just under Biden. He's going to reverse that. We can easily go back to number 1, especially our natural gas. Fracking, natural gas, if we can access that California coast and go over Gavin Newsom's head, that would be ideal too. But America just already sits on a natural amount of oil reserves, and we've paid, imported it from Canada in our oil crisis because Biden shut all our drilling down, shut down ANWR, which we need to open back up, the ANWR. And then we need to open up and we've been buying, we'll buy it oil from Venezuela. We'll buy it from third world or from very evil countries in the Middle East. Anything but drill our own. So it's really like we're not taking a principled stand against oil in the name of the environment. We're just importing it from other people because we don't want to drill it ourselves. What we do want to make ourselves are stupid windmills, which are so inefficient and terrible for the environment, terrible for animals. They don't work. I mean, they only will turn when a wind blows. They're ugly. They're eyesores. You have to make just a ton of them. And we're about to build them out in the New Jersey coastline, which no one wants.
You know, they told me that we're going to do everything possible to make this transition to the new administration very smooth. It's not smooth because they're doing that. They're playing with the courts, as you know. They've been playing with the courts for 4 years, probably got me more votes because I got the highest number of votes ever gotten by a Republican, by far, actually, by a lot. You know, we had a great election, so I guess it didn't work. But even to this day, they're playing with the courts. They have their friendly judges that like to try and make everybody happy on the Democrat side. It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice, and it's happened at a level nobody's ever seen before.
That's Trump himself crediting the lawfare and the judges in corruption against him that made him get more votes. I believe that's true. I believe it was not about this last election cycle. Other channels were focusing on votes and machines and the ballots, and that was the previous 4 years. That had nothing to do with this election. This election was won because of lawfare. The Democrats went after him, and you can see it in Trump's polls. When that picture of him as a felon came out, it turned the entire election around. I believe that is the biggest tectonic shift. That's where Trump started being a little bit on the down low to blowing away everyone's expectations, making new connections where it became clear that Trump not only this year in 2023 and 24 was being treated unfairly, but he was probably being treated unfairly back in 2021. So it changed everything. It broke media. Media got exposed as a liar and basically an advocate of all the Democrat judges, Merchan, Fani Willis. It all became giant marketing for Trump. And I believe that's the most significant thing with the election. Now, Biden and his administration, the Department of Justice, are still colluding with these terrible judges and trying to persecute Trump. It of course didn't work. It won't work. But it shows that their claim of good faith, we're going to help with the transition, is proven by their actions, which they're hunting Trump. They're not trying to help him.
I defeated a deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual. I guess he's on his way back to The Hague. And we won those cases. Those were the biggest ones. And the press made such a big deal out of them. But we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong on anything. And the people saw that. You know, when they vote, when a Republican, it's not easy for a Republican. When the Republican wins the popular vote by millions and wins all 7 of the swing states, people said, well, he could win 4. We won all 7, and we won them by a lot. That tells you we won. And they've been watching this injustice. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, I mean, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge. I'm under a gag order. I can't even talk about aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. I'm under a gag. Do you know that I'm the president-elect of the United States of America?
He's still under a gag order. And Jack Smith is going back to The Hague. He's terrified. They're talking about leaving the country. They're terrified of being here, including all of their interns, their co-workers. All of Washington, D.C. knows there's a new administration coming to town. There's new leadership to investigate them. That's Kash Patel and especially Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. She's going to take the place of Merrick Garland. So the new Attorney General is going to turn things around. You ain't seen nothing yet, guys. That's my only question I have is, will Trump play nice and be a gentleman and just say, hey, we're not going to investigate them. We won. Let's just keep winning going forward with doing our own thing? Or does he not, as Mike Davis says, we need like a restitution. We need to be made whole. We need to go back in and make sure that this never happens again by investigating Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, Alejandro Mayorkas, Christopher Wray, and Joe Biden. Those are the ones that need to be investigated. But especially Merrick Garland, I think he's hiding something. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I have a lot more Trump clips, but just I feel like this is enough because it shows the big picture way that America is back. He's not apologizing to Panama for who we are. He's going back in and saying, we built the Panama Canal. We want it back. We want the Gulf of Mexico to be named the Gulf of America. He's projecting American confidence into Canada, into Greenland, into China, around the world, announcing we as a country and as a nation are back. These are good times. I'm Doug in Exile. Here's another video if you want to watch one. Boop.